Let's read Nash's Leaders in Homeopathic Therapeutics. Phosphorus. Tall, slender, narrow-chested, thigh-sickle patients, delicate eyelashes, soft hair, or nervous, weak persons who like to be magnetized. Waxy, half anemic, jaundiced persons. Anxious, universal restlessness, can't stand or sit still, aggravated in dark or when left alone, aggravated before a thunderstorm. Burnings prominent in every place, as in mouth, stomach, small intestines, anus, between scapulae, intense running of the spine, palms of hands. Heat begins in hands, spreads to face. Craving for cold things, ice cream, which agrees, or cold water which is thrown up as it gets warm in the stomach. Must eat often or he faints. Must get up at night to eat. Sinking, faint, empty feeling in head, chest, stomach, and whole abdominal cavity. Cough, aggravated twilight till midnight. Aggravated lying on left side. Ameliorated lying on right side. Right lower lobe most affected. Diarrhea profuse, pouring out as from a hydrant. Watery, with sago-like particles, or dysenteric, with wide open anus. Apathetic, unwilling to talk, answers slowly, moves sluggishly. Constipation, stool slender, long, dry, tough, and hard, like a dog's stool, voided with difficulty. Hemorrhagic diathesis, slight wounds, bleed profusely. Hemoptysis, Materia worse, vicarious from nose, stomach, anus, urethra in amenorrhea. Cannot talk. The larynx is so painful. Cough going from warm to cold air. Laughing, talking, reading, eating, lying on left side. Similar remedies, Drosera and Stannum italicum. Two things I would like to point out first itself. First is the sinking, faint, empty feeling in head, chest, stomach, or the whole abdominal cavity. This empty feeling in a patient who feels chilly most of the time and craves for cold things is a characteristic of phosphorus. Many years ago, my father, who is diabetic, and he was sick one day. I just went to meet him in the morning. He said, I cannot lift my head up from the bed. I feel like, he had some vertigo, and he said, I feel like everything is empty about me. My head is empty. That's what I feel. So in Hindi, it is like, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मेरा दिमाग पूरा खाली हो गया है. कुछ नहीं है मेरे अंदर. दिमाग में कुछ नहीं. That was the feeling that he described. And suddenly, empty feeling in the head, and he didn't want fan or air conditioner. All he needed was some water to drink. And he prefers room temperature water or cold water. So I gave it to him. And then I understood that phosphorus could be his remedy. And he had high levels of blood sugar at that time. Phosphorus relieved that particular symptom, and he got up from the bed after some time, and he felt better. And he never had the symptom again. Doesn't mean that his diabetes is cured. He's still diabetic. But if you look at the way homeopathic medicines are, like all the symptoms, they come together usually. So here we have many people in homeopathic medical college where I studied would know my father. My father is a very active man, and he's all the time talking with people, like there is some element of phosphorus about him all the time. Like phosphorus is something that that has this tendency to spread, right? So in my father's nature, I find like that tendency to express himself as much as possible and to converse with other people. He is an extrovert and he enjoys company of people. And so I realized that phosphorus is one of his indicated medicines from his nature of mingling with others. Now, when George Vithoulkas describes phosphorus, he says that phosphorus has this tendency of effervescence, and then this is how he talks about it. So I hope you have this book, Essence of Materia Medica, written by George Vithoulkas, and it is a very useful book. It would help you to understand the personalities of many remedies. Phosphorus is one of his masterpieces, is what I would say, because he describes it beautifully. Diffusion is the word he used. Diffusion is a theme which runs through the phosphorus pathology. Diffusion is a process of spreading outward into the environment, like smoke spreading outward into the air, or the color from a tea bag diffusing uniformly into water. The same happens to the energy, the awareness, the emotions, and even the blood of the phosphorus patient. Look at that description. You won't find this kind of a description in any of our other Medicas, like, hearing, guiding symptoms or Allen's keynotes. So he says that the same thing happens to the energy, the awareness, the emotions, and even the blood of the phosphorus patient. It is as if there are no barriers for this physical, emotional, or mental. Just they diffuse into the environment. Because of this, the phosphorus patient is vulnerable to all types of influences. On the physical level, we see that almost any injury or stress results in hemorrhage. This occurs because the sheaths of the blood vessels are weak and easily allow the blood to diffuse into surrounding tissues. And this is true about my father. He also has this hemorrhagic tendency. On the emotional plane, the phosphorus patient's emotions freely go out towards others, with little ability of the patient to contain them and protect the self from emotional vulnerability. He is, he doesn't have many boundaries. Boundaries are very relaxed. He easily mingles with people, regardless of their religious or other backgrounds. And this is true of him. Mentally, the patient easily forgets himself, even to the degree that awareness can become too diffuse and unfocused. The patient becomes easily spaced out. So why I just read this particular paragraph is to explain how I see or what I find amusing about phosphorus people. So if you have a phosphorus patient, you would know them very, very soon, because they would be very keen to explain every detail of their sickness to you. And also, they would sometimes try to touch you and try to get closer to you, try to explain everything that they have in their mind. So there are no barriers. They would share everything about themselves and about their relationships. And Natromure is opposite. They wouldn't give you any information about themselves, who they are, what they think, what they feel, what they like, what they dislike. So it's like polar opposites are phosphorus and Natromure. So here we have Dr. Nash now talking about phosphorus. So he has given us just a brief introduction, which is taken from the Allen's keynotes, the keynote symptoms. So according to him, phosphorus patients would be tall, slender, narrow-chested, thigh-sickle patients with delicate eyelashes, soft hair, or nervous, weak patients who like to be magnetized. Phosphorus patients generally like to be magnetized. They like this rubbing and this, what do you call it, like massage. Waxy, half anemic, jaundiced patients. So either they would be jaundiced, waxy, half anemic. You have these girls who look either jaundiced or half anemic, and they are tall, slender, and narrow-chested, and have soft hair. You can imagine that in your mind. Many people think that is a sign of beauty, but I don't think so. I feel like it's not so beautiful. I don't know. Like, anemic it's not so nice, is it? So there's the skin would have a particular color, not white, like an off-white, anemic kind of skin. And burning is the prominent symptom, according to Dr. Nash. The most prominent thing about phosphorus is burning. Now, there are 3 medicines in the homeopathic Medica which we frequently use for burnings, and they are arsenicum album, phosphorus, and sulfur. There are many other remedies also, but these are the most prominent, which Dr. Nash would call as a trio of burning. So now, Dr. Nash starts his talk with burning. As a general characteristic, burning is almost as strong under this remedy as under arsenicum and sulfur. There is no organ or tissue in which it may not be found, from the outer skin to the innermost surface of every tract of parenchyma or parenchyma. It may be subjective only, without actual rise of temperature. If you look at the patient, they would be cold to touch. If you touch the patient, they would be cold to touch, but they would feel burning internally. And that would be, it is just a subjective burning. There is no actual rise of temperature. Or it may attend organic changes in malignant diseases. Sometimes, in malignant diseases, there'll be organic changes like in cancer, and there will be rise of temperature, and there would be this burning. And it happens in many other sicknesses, not just in cancer. The sensation of burning in an intense degree should always place phosphorus in the front rank for consideration. Again, there is perhaps no remedy having stronger action on the nervous system. It attacks it in its very citadel of strength, the brain and spinal cord, producing softening or atrophy with all its attendant symptoms in their order, as prostration, trembling, numbness, and complete paralysis. So Dr. Nash talks about an order. Like, this is how it works. There would be prostration first. Prostration is weakness, nervous weakness, then trembling, and then numbness in various parts of the body, and eventually complete paralysis. If you look at cases of diabetic neuropathy, you would find these things happening in many patients. And phosphorus is useful to control the burning that comes along with numbness in such patients. I have found it quite effective, not just in my father's case, but in other patients also who had similar symptoms. And of course, without the totality, you cannot give any medicine in homeopathic treatment, particularly of the chronic diseases. So you would have to see what are the physical generals and mental generals, and then you come to the knowledge of the right remedy. So here we have phosphorus that has many nervous symptoms ranging from prostration to complete paralysis. Phosphorus does this in both acute and chronic form of disease. It will be found in acute typhoids as well as in that slowly progressive disease, locomotor ataxia. Its causes may be sudden, like pneumonia, typhus, exanthematic diseases, croup, bronchitis, when vitality reaches its lowest ebb, or may arise in a condition undermined by grief, care, or excessive mental exertion. Its action at the first may be characterized by a burning heat in various parts, and